Welcome to Knitting Needles and Stems. I'm Carrie, I'm the host. Today we are going to talk about works in progress, finished objects, knit-alongs, more out than in, my patterns, and gardening. So let's get started. So what's new right now since the last time I recorded? It's been a few weeks. Tax season is over. Woo! So excited. I'm working less hours now and I get a lot more rest, and it's not nearly as stressful at work these days, so that's always a big plus. Another thing is my middle daughter is moving. They're switching schools from she is in the University of Wisconsin system. She's been attending Stevens Point and she's going to be transferring to Eau Claire. So earlier this week we toured the Eau Claire campus, and that was a lot of fun. She got to actually talk to teachers in the psychology department, which is what she wants to do. She actually wants to be a social worker. So that was a lot of fun. We got to eat in the cafeteria and walk up the big hill. The big hill is apparently a legend, and instead of walking up the hill, we decided to walk up the 91 stairs going up to the cafeteria, which, wasn't the best idea, but we did get a good workout that day. So without further ado, let's just jump right into works in progress. The first thing I was working on was my Mira River wrap. This is a wrap by Tammy Canavan-Soldaat. This one was for the Project a Month knit along last year in 2024 sometime, March of 2024. Because I'm using this cobweb yarn, it was in a giant cone that was gifted to me, and it's super thin. It's not even lace weight. This is a long-term project for me. So here we go. Here's how far I've gotten. I'm using beads from Fire Mountain Gems, this beautiful green color, and the yarn has like shades of red and brown. It's just a really pretty color, I think, and I think it'll make a nice scarf with the beads when it eventually gets done. It'll be lightweight, so more of like a fall scarf with the color. So again, that's the Mira River wrap by Tammy Canavan-Soldaat, and this is just leftover. This is random cobweb weight yarn that I have on a giant cone. The next thing that I've been working on, I've been pretty exclusive in my knitting, pretty monogamous, because I'm trying to get some of my works in progress down. So I don't really have that many this time, but I'm working on a pair of socks for my youngest. Her birthday's coming up on June 2nd, and she picked out this yarn at the Shepherd's Harvest Festival last year, which the Shepherd's Harvest Festival actually is coming up next weekend on the 10th and the 11th of May. So if you're in the Minnesota area, you should definitely check it out because it's a great festival. It's in Lake Elmo. So for this one, I'm using T&H Fiber Work Glitz Sock BFL Silk Blend. And I don't have the colorway, but look at that color, and there is sparkle in there. The camera won't pick up the sparkle, but it's there. And like I said, she picked this out at the festival. And I'm using a vanilla sock pattern with the Fish Lips Kiss heel. I have the first sock all the way done, as you can see. And the second sock, I am through the heel. And I am working my way up the leg. And then just a little bit of ribbing, and that one will be done. So again, that's the Fish Lips Kiss heel, and that's by Socks Therapist. And the yarn is T&H Fiber Works Glitz Sock BFL Silk Blend that she got at the Shepherd's Harvest Festival in 2024. The third thing that I've been working on is Musselburgh by Ysolda Teague. This one is an end-to-end hat, so you end up with a double thick hat. You cast on a few stitches at one end, increase to the diameter you want your hat to be, knit straight through until it's the length of almost two hats, and then you would knit, decrease, and close on the other end. So for this one, I'm using Knitologie Sheen in the Titmouse colorway. This is the same that I use in my flax sweater that I talked about in one of the earlier episodes. I'm going to find a different color to use on the other end, and I'm going to make it long enough so that you can fold up the brim and have 4 layers over your ears, because it does get really cold here in northern Wisconsin. But I got to figure out what other color I'm going to use on the other end first. So again, this one is Musselburgh by Ysolda Teague using Knitologie Sheen in the Titmouse colorway. Next, I've been working on an emotional support chicken. And I know I've made a couple, and I showed you one on the last podcast that I had finished. But this one, when I made the other ones, I wondered what it would look like if I made an emotional support chicken with fingering weight yarn. Like, how small would that chicken be? And because of that, I decided to use my leftovers from my 2023 Advent kit from Bumblebee Acres Farm to make an emotional support chicken for my middle daughter. So here is the start of that emotional support chicken. These will be the back feathers here. You can tell it's a lot smaller than the ones that I've made previously, and I'm just using the leftovers. I have all kinds of little balls left over of all 24 colors of the Advent that I'm going to use for this chicken. So it's just kind of like a Frankenstein chicken. I will find a solid color to use for the comb and for the beak, but other than that, and I do have some safety eyes, just plain black ones that I'll use for the eyes. But other than that, it's just going to have all these colors, and it's going to be fun and fabulous, and she's going to love it when it's done. She don't know that I'm making it for her, so hopefully she doesn't watch this podcast. But again, that's the Emotional Support Chicken by Annette Corsino. And I'm using my leftover 2023 Advent set from Bumblebee Acres Farm. Now, I've also been working on my counted cross stitch. The counted cross stitch is Day's End by Judy Gibson. This one was gifted to me from a friend. The kit was. You can see I've just been working in this hoop. I decided I had started going around. I was going to go around the circle and then fill it in. But then I got stuck in this section and I finished this tree. I was working on the sky. I'm probably going to go ahead and fill in the rest of the deer and possibly this tree too before I move on to the next section. So I'm really enjoying the counted cross stitch. I do an hour a week, and it's pretty amazing how much you can get done in an hour. Now this is going to take me probably several years at that pace, but at least I'm going to eventually get it done, and I'm actually working on it every week. It's nice to mix it up a little bit. Again, that's the Day's End counted cross stitch by Judy Gibson. And because I was inspired by working on something else an hour a week, I did get my spinning wheel out. And I don't have anything to show you yet, but I've decided that I'm going to start spinning 1 hour a week or more. I can pull it out more. I can pull out the counted cross stitch more. But I have a sheep to sweater project that I've been working on probably for the last 6 years. I bought a fleece from one of the gentlemen that does taxes in our office. He usually just gets rid of the fleeces. He doesn't sell them. He's used them for insulation and other things. And it's a nice soft fleece. I'm not sure what breed it's from, but my husband actually wants me to make him a fisherman's sweater like they used to in the old days, so that the wives of the fishermen could identify their husbands. If something were to happen to them, they could identify them by their sweater. So he wants a unique sweater. So I've been working on that for about 6 years. I don't even have one bobbin of the singles spun yet, but I'm working on it. So look forward to more spinning in my podcast in the future. And now it's time to move on to finished objects. First, I did finish the Fish Lips Kiss Heel socks by Sock Therapist in the Knit Picks Felici Olive Juice colorway for the family. Everybody has their socks now because I got a nice family photo of the socks. But before I show you that photo, I have to also talk about my other daughters. My middle daughter cannot wear wool. She has a wool sensitivity. It's not an allergy, it's just a sensitivity. It makes her itchy. So her socks were the Shorty heel tab socks with a Fish Lips Kiss heel. And for hers, I used Premier Yarn Fruits in the Dragonfruit colorway. So this is the family picture that we got of all of us in our socks. Everybody loves their socks. My husband and my daughters have all been wearing them a lot since I gave them to them about a week ago. So that's always a good sign when you make something for somebody and they keep wearing them over and over. So again, they're just plain vanilla socks with the Fish Lips Kiss heel by Socks Therapist. And the Shorty heel tab was by, who is the Shorty heel tab by? I don't have that in my notes, but it will be in the show notes. So that's the Shorty heel tab socks. Look in the show notes for the designer on that one. The next thing that I finished was Imagine Landscape's most recent mystery knit-along. Everybody should be done with the knit-along by now. All the clues are out. The final date to post your finished gnome it has already passed, so I think it's safe for me to go ahead and show you my Professor Fungi. If you happen to not be done and don't want to be spoiled, just skip ahead for about 30 seconds to 1 minute in the video and you should miss him. So for this one, I used Berroco Ultra Fine Alpaca and Barley, Claudia Hand Painted Yarns Addiction and Cherries, Quince and Company Finch in the Twig colorway, and some mystery white fingering that I had. So here is Professor Fungi, and this is the Berroco Ultra Alpaca Barley, Claudia Hand Painted Yarns Addiction and Cherries, and the Quince and Company is the darker brown down here. So how adorable is this guy? He has this corkscrew scraggly beard and his mushroom cap. When I picked these colors, I was hoping that he would have a mushroom cap and that this is exactly how I wanted his cap to look. I'm a child of the 90s. I grew up in the 90s playing Super Mario Brothers, and I still actually play it with my oldest. And I just love Super Mario, and the 1-Up mushrooms are the best. So, and he has this nice little basket for foraging his little mushroom friends, I guess. I don't know, but he's adorable. For this one, she had you cut out a piece of cardboard. So he actually has a piece of cardboard going around the inside here and around his base, which I really appreciate the cardboard on the bottom. I might employ that in all of my gnomes from now on because it really helps him stand up. But he also has these adorable little feet. Look at these little feet. So cute, so cute. So again, this is Professor Fungi by Schira, Imagine Landscapes. You can find her patterns on Ravelry or on imaginelandscapes.com. And for this one, I used Berroco Ultra Alpaca Fine and Barley, Claudia Hand Painted Yarns Addictions and Cherries, Quince and Company Finch and Twig, and white fingering that I had left over from some other gnomes. The last thing that I finished is a pinwheel cloth by Barbara Breiter. For this one, I used Knit Picks Dishy and Verdigris and Peaches and Cream or Sugars and Cream. I'm not sure which one, but the Verdigris is this teal turquoise color here, and then the other is the yellow blue that's woven all through there. But look at this fun washcloth. It's so squishy. It's all in garter stitch. The pattern is so easy to memorize. It has a lot of short rows. Don't be scared of short rows. There's nothing scary about short rows. So it's just a really fun pattern, and I kind of thought that it looked like a hat, like the top of a hat when I was done. So I might be inspired to use part of this as the crown of a hat at some point. So maybe keep a lookout for that. Again, that's the Pinwheel Cloth by Barbara Breiter, and Knit Picks Dishy and Vergris, and either Peaches and Cream or Sugars and Cream that I had left over. That was gifted to me. That's all my finished objects for this time. So let's move on to knit-alongs. The Unraveling podcast was hosting the knit-along for the Knitting Bag of Tricks book and workbook by Patty Lyons. The knit-along is actually over, but all of the threads are still open, and you're still able to go in there and read what everybody found about their own knitting and post what you found about your knitting. And it's a really active group, so if you do go in there and post anything, you're sure to get great responses. If you have questions, people are there to answer them. So that's hosted in the Unraveling podcast group on Ravelry, and it's for the Knitting Bag of Tricks book and workbook by Patty Lyons. Another knit along is the Project a Month Cal group, which I'm a moderator in. And for May, we are doing the Scrumptious Stripes Socks by Espace Tricket. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right. I'm sorry. But it's a nice stripe, a nice pattern to show off a stripy skein, or you can use variegated or anything that might not show a pattern very well. This pattern is perfect to show off that special skein of yarn that we've all picked up. We've all gone to a festival or a yarn store and saw a special skein of sock yarn, not having any idea what we're going to make with it, and we just had to bring it home with us. So this pattern would be perfect for that. And again, that's in the Project a Month Cal group on Ravelry. Now let's move on to More Out Than In. For April, I did not bring in any yarn. I didn't buy any yarn. I wasn't gifted any yarn, nothing. So I had 0 yards brought in, and with the projects that I finished, I sent out 1,324 yards. So for the year, I have brought in 540 yards and sent out 3,270 yards. So I'm ahead. I'm trying to send out stash. I would kind of like to get to the point where I have enough stash to do some small projects if I decide that I want to do a small project. But if I want to do a big project, I want to have to order that yarn and not have a lot of yarn left at my house. I don't want my yarn to outlive me, but it'll take a while to get there. So I'm doing pretty good on my More Out Than In. Now let's move on to my patterns. The Mystery Spring Critter Knit Along or Make Along is going on right now in my Ravelry group. Their pattern is available in both knit and crochet. The first 3 clues are already out. The next 3 clues are coming out Tuesday. The 6th is the 4th clue. The last clue will come out on Tuesday, May 20th. And then all of the finished projects have to be submitted by June 1st into the finished object thread in order to be eligible for the prize. So I'm only giving out 1 prize, and it is 2 skeins of Knit Picks Bulky, Chroma Bulky, in 2 different colorways. I don't have the colorways here with me, but one is a blue and one is a pink. So if you're interested in winning either one of those prizes, make sure you get your finished animal posted by June 1st, and you'll be entered to win both of the skeins of yarn. Now let's move on to gardening. I don't have anything really good to talk about for gardening this week. The seedlings that I planted in the last episode have all died. I kind of think my cat had something to do with that. I had to sit them on the living room table because they weren't supposed to be in the sun. I couldn't sit them in my sunny window with the other plants. And they sprouted, and then all of the ends started dying and they started shriveling up. So that was a no-go. I'm gonna end up buying probably some pots to put some herbs out on the deck. I'll probably do that within the next little bit because I would like to have fresh herbs. I love to have fresh herbs to cook with, and I like to have them readily available where I can just step out the door, grab them, bring them in, and put them in whatever it is that I'm cooking. And then after that, I'm going to work on building up probably just one garden plot at a time. Our garden plots that we have were made for flowers. We've been working on them slowly. They did produce a few years, and then they just kind of have gone downhill. They are approximately 4 feet wide by probably about 10 to 12 feet long. So I just need to buy some good soil, get some compost, get that all mixed in there, build up the sides a little bit, get more dirt in there, and hopefully I can get them to produce some good tomatoes. Tomatoes are my favorite. Homegrown tomatoes are the best tomatoes that there ever were and ever will be, and I stand by that. I'll probably actually buy a pot and put cherry tomatoes in it and put it on the deck as well so that they'll be readily available for me to just go out and eat. So not good news on my gardening, but I'm still hopeful that we can get some produce and some nice fresh herbs. I did buy a new toaster oven, which is also a dehydrator. So for the fresh herbs, I can also dehydrate them and save them to use during the winter. So that'll be great. So that's all that I have for you today. Make sure that you tell your friends about the podcast and like and subscribe and follow me. That's how we you can keep making sure that these podcasts keep getting shown. So until next time, keep doing what you love. Bye.